welcome. Today's session is a little earlier than usual. It's Meet the Teacher night tonight, so getting this in so I can still make it in order to see and meet my son's teacher tonight. One thing that I wanted to go over, as always, obviously you can ask your questions in the chat. I'll get to them as I see them pop up. But I wanted to touch on something that I posted about last week. And it's something that I see a lot. I've been a victim of it myself, especially when I was doing competitions for bodybuilding and things. And there's two aspects to it. One, it's either beginning a new diet or meal program with the attitude of, essentially like, I need to have a last meal, so to speak, kind of approaching it like an execution type deal where I need one last hoorah of all my favorite foods and drinks and everything, because I'm not going to be able to have any of it for the next 60 to 90 days or however long you're making a commitment to that program. Then on the flip side of it is coming to the end of it where you're just counting down the days until it's done. You're not enjoying it. Yes, you've accomplished a lot of results, but once you get to that either goal mark or time point, you're done with it and you're going all out like a hog at the trough with anything and everything that you can find that you couldn't have during the program. And neither of those are really a great thing. And first and foremost, if you catch yourself with that attitude, you're doing the wrong program if you want your results to last. A lot of these programs that are so restrictive that it creates that mindset and mentality for us are great at achieving results, but they're not setting you up for sustained and maintained results, because it's not fun, it's not enjoyable. Yes, you can get a lot of weight down and a lot of body fat lost really, really quickly, but it's not something that you can keep going with, because it's not enjoyable, it's not fun, it's not sustainable. A lot of times you end up either ostracizing yourself from social activities, or you're the one that's packing your prepped meal to the party so you have something to eat, and now you've got to explain to people about why you brought separate food, why you're not doing the other stuff, what you're doing it for, and it can just be really awkward, sometimes uncomfortable, because you don't necessarily want that type of attention brought to you, and it's just unmanageable to really do anything like that long term. So you want to kind of be aware of that if you're starting something. If you're catching yourself in that mindset to where you're like, oh, I'm going to start this program, so I'm going to have my my last meal Sunday night, and then we're going to start Monday hard, like, you're probably setting yourself up for some sort of failure in the future with it. And then same thing, if you start a program, maybe you didn't do the whole last meal before you started it, but you're finding yourself, maybe you're a third to 2/3 through the program, and now you're just counting down the days till it's done, and you're creating a list of all the food or restaurants and meals that you're going to have as soon as it's over with. You need to reevaluate. Again, especially if you're looking for long-term results. These type of programs that create that mindset, like I said, they're great for achieving short-term, quick change and progress, but it's not overly sustainable. That is the biggest challenge. So be aware of that with whatever you're doing, especially, again, if you're doing something because you want to get your weight down, keep it down, you need a plan that you can see yourself continuously doing, essentially for life. I don't like saying forever, because sometimes that intimidates and scares people, but if it's not something where you can say, I feel good about this, I've got my energy, I can still go out when I want to, I know how to balance my food choices and everything. Like that's what we want to see in a approach to nutrition that will still see results, but the results will be long term. Anytime you find yourself again in that attitude of I can't wait till I'm done, this is my list of restaurants I'm hitting as soon as it's over, and you've got a binge week essentially already scheduled out and you're not even halfway through the program, that's not a good thing if you're looking for long-term results, because ultimately all you're learning how to do is two things: how to burn off and drop a lot of weight really quickly, and then how to maintain the weight that you didn't like being at in the first place. Okay? So what you want to do is look at your habits and create a plan that allows you to still see weight loss results and see weight loss progress, but also allows for life to happen. You need to be able to have fun. You need to be able to socialize with your friends. You need to not feel restricted, limited, or controlled with your nutrition, because that's not conducive to a lifestyle or habits. What that is something that's conducive to very short-term blocked approach, where we're doing this because we're trying to accomplish this by this date and nothing else matters but that. But after that date, nothing, it doesn't matter anymore. That's the only time those really restrictive, hardcore diets are effective. But again, just remember that being able to maintain them, the results from them is very difficult. So just something that kind of like came, put the post out and wanted to expand upon it, but you can only put so much in for the type on a post and actually have the message get out there. So hope that rang through for some people to kind of reevaluate their approach when it comes to nutrition and dieting. Instead of putting a really restrictive focus on it, make it balanceable, make it manageable. Because if you can do something consistently long term, the social outings and little things like that are just going to be blips on the radar. They're not going to be those detours that take you off the deep end on overeating and getting into bad habits with it, because you're not restricted the rest of the time and you can stay consistent with the habits that you put in place. Well, I appreciate everyone's time. Sorry we had to get this one in early, but we'll be back again next Tuesday. If you have any questions, throw them down in the comments after. We'll answer them on the next week's live session. In the meantime, have a great week, and remember to stay persistent in your consistent pursuit of health.